now is just a scaled back version of the more in-depth one that I go through. So I've just put 10 key questions, and I'm going to whiz through the questions and a little bit of explanation if any of them need it. So these are 10 questions that you can ask yourself about your business to decide if anything needs adapting or changing. You might go through it and go, yeah, actually, I'm really happy with how my business is going, and that is great. When I do it, hold on, I'm just trying to share. Here it is. So I normally do it thinking about the last 6 to 12 months in your business. So for those of you who have had to make some changes and adapt your business, it might not apply so much. So, you know, answer the questions that are relevant, and then don't answer the questions that are not relevant. So the main things is always have a look at what goes well, what's gone well in your business, and what hasn't gone so well. It's quite surprising when I go through this with people and they go, oh, this didn't go so well, and it's something that they're still doing. Recognise if something hasn't gone that well, you can look at how to change that, how to prevent that from happening, how to make it a bit better. You don't have to be unhappy with your business and carry on with it. So recognise what went well and what didn't go so well, and use those to form your direction for your business going forward. What did you enjoy doing most? So for some people, this is that they've had a really favourite set of clients that they've worked with. This is sometimes where you can look back and go, right, I've got a really good idea of who I'd love to work with, because for me, when I reviewed my business a few years back, it was that I realised I loved working with women. The men I was working with was a nightmare. And I loved working with mums, and I loved working with people that run the business by themselves and they were the only person in it. So that helped me to shape how I was going to move my business forwards. It might be a favourite package that you offer or a favourite service. So think about what you enjoy doing most in your business, and obviously the goal is to try and do more of that, or at least not to lose that. Then obviously opposite to that, was there anything that gave you negative feelings? So it might be a particular kind of client. So as I said before, I found that the men that I were working with were a nightmare. They were difficult at taking direction and things like that. And so I was able to look out for that in future. There were some red flags there that if I was having a consultation with somebody or a bit of a chat, and I just thought, yeah, this isn't really somebody that, yeah, I could work with them, but they're going to be a nightmare. So I was able to recognise that. But it might be some tasks that you avoid doing. It might be something that you offer that you're not actually that into. Just because you can do it doesn't mean that you have to carry out that service. And sometimes this needs a bit of thinking, and it might not come to you immediately, but once you've started thinking about this stuff, so you might be doing something later on and go, oh yeah, actually, yeah, I'm not that keen on doing that. You don't have to stop doing it immediately, but you just need to bear these things in mind for when you're going to work on moving your business forwards. Number 5, what did you struggle with? So for some people, this is tech related stuff. Some people are just not technological minded, and anything to do with any kind of systems and things just throw you, and it can be quite annoying and frustrating to have to deal with that sort of thing. Could be sales, could be the sales process. That's where a lot of people get stuck, in which case you should speak to Carol. She's excellent at that. So anything that makes you feel uncomfortable or frustrated in your business and that you struggle with, the idea from that is for identify what you need help with, and actually then be able to find how to overcome that, because you needn't struggle on. You need to obviously get help with some things. Question number 6, what feedback have you had on your business? And if you haven't had any feedback, then start asking, because people do love to give feedback, and sometimes it takes asking for it for people to leave you a review or to give you some feedback on your business. I try and get feedback after each session. And it's not specifically to use as a review or testimonial, but also I am interested in the actual feedback from the session as well, to see if I can make any tweaks to make it better. But so if you do get regular feedback, it's really interesting to see what sorts of words and phrases people are using, because that's helped me shape some of my services. You know, when I was getting regular feedback saying, it's like you're my business best friend, you're my business bestie, I can always come to you for advice. And that, once I had that a few times, like, actually, yes, I'm going to make that the name of one of my packages, but it's business bestie. So it's nice to see the words and phrases that people are using about you and your service, if that could help you tweak some of your packages and products and things going forwards. So number 7, this is, was your work-life balance good? It might be slightly different now. The last month or so, your work-life balance might have been a bit different to what it was before. But was it what you wanted? So, and how could you tell? So sometimes it's that your work-life balance was not good. It was more work, less life, and it was making you ill. You know, as an extreme example, I've had that. You need to be able to recognise whether it's good or not, and what you need to do. Depending on how you want your work-life balance to be, there's no one right answer as to what you need to do there. But maybe it's different now. So I've had quite a few people who, when we've got to this stage doing the business review, they've gone, yeah, work-life balance wasn't that great before, but actually I quite like it now. I quite like this slower pace, and actually I'd like to adapt my business to be able to keep this slower pace, and actually have more time off or less stressful time running my business. So if you've experienced a change in how your work-life balance is over this last month or so, you might want to keep that. You might be someone who goes, yeah, I definitely need to keep busy. This has taught me that I need to keep busy. In which case, that's how you would adapt. Number 8, what do you want people to know you for? We've been through this in my workshop. This was part of the workshop I did in January. So what do you want people to know you for? And just review what you're doing and saying and offering, and does that actually reinforce that? I'm trying to think of an example I can give without identifying anybody. I don't think I can off the top of my head. But you know, for somebody who wants to be known as the go-to person for accounting, you know, make sure that what you want to specialise in, that's what you put out there. If you want to specialise in working with limited companies of X size, if you're not putting that out there, people don't know that's what you want to be known for. So think about what it is you want to be known for, and make sure that what you're saying and doing and offering and putting out there actually reinforces that. Number 9, so based on the above answers, what changes or adaptations do you need to make to your business? So it might be none. It might be that you've reviewed it and actually quite happy. And you might not have realised it before, but when you've answered the questions, you go, actually, yeah, I'm quite content with how things are, and I'm pretty confident that, you know, things are going well. That's fine. But you might have identified some things that you might want to change, especially if you've got a few things for what didn't go so well, what gave you negative feelings, what you struggle with. So have a look at that. And finally, it's not just about what you know for your business, but it's your own personal development. So there might be something there that would help you. And for some people, it's confidence, public speaking, imposter syndrome. All of those things will help your business, but those are more personal development things. And sometimes you can't see those for yourself. So there, it's sometimes useful to ask somebody else. It might be somebody from the network group. It might be your partner. Sometimes they've got good answers, sometimes not so good answers. But just to get a bit of outside feedback on, you know, what people might think that you could do with. So ultimately, once you've answered all of those questions, it makes sense to plan to do more of the positive things and plan to tackle the changes that are needed for to address the negative things and to progress your business forwards. So after you've done this review, the next step really would be to work out like the direction and the strategy, what changes would be beneficial, how to make those changes, where to get the help. I know there's quite a few of us on here today offering business support in some way, and and it's just find somebody that you love working with. You know, everybody brings something different. But if you are with any service that you work with in your business, you've got to have that good connection with somebody. So, and you can do all this by yourself. Once you've answered the questions, you might think, actually, yeah, that's all I needed to know. I needed to get a little bit of direction on what I need to improve. I just needed some prompts, and I can go away and do that by myself. That is absolutely brilliant. But there are lots of us here who can help you if you do need a little bit of help. So as I said, now is quite a good time to be reviewing your business if you're going through a little bit of a slump or some changes, or you're just having a little bit of a rest, ready to kick off once we get back to normal, if that'll ever happen, or you know, the new normal, or things. So if you do need any help with it, then obviously I am here. I'm still working. I've got a manny in to look after the kids. Not really, it's my husband, and he's also meant to be working, don't you know? So he, I'm still here for your help if you need help reviewing